Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put the phone on the charger and then I'll jump right back into the live. Okay. So if the live freeze, don't click off. Okay. If you're under 35 years old, please watch this video. If you're under 35 years old, watch this video. Okay. If you're under 35 years old and you're not making $100,000 a year, and even if you don't have any kids, go move back in with your parents. I don't care how toxic they are. If they're not beating you up and robbing you, move back in with your parents. I know somebody's going to say, nah, I'm too old. No, you ain't. Let me tell you something about being over 35. Okay? Your health declines faster. Okay? You're going to need better health insurance. Real talk. Okay? You're going to need more dental work than you ever thought you're going to need. You're going to be running to the dentist to get fillings. You're going to be running to the dentist to get more cleanings. That's more money that you're going to need to take care of yourself. So when you move in with your parents, they're going to be more sympathetic towards how much you're paying to live there. Move back in with your grandma and pay your little $300 a month rent, because grandmas, they're going to charge you the rent that they remember from the time when they was younger. They're not going to charge you $1,200 a month in rent. They're old. Okay? They're not really chasing money anymore. So move in with your grandma, move in with your mom. Your mom is over 60, your grandma is maybe in her 80s, and pay your little $300 to $500 rent. And believe me, you'll be saving way more money than you'll be saving renting out here. The average apartment rental, no matter where you go in the world, is at least $800 a month. That's pretty much the minimum for a studio, for a little studio apartment. And that doesn't even include gas and electric. And often it doesn't even include water and sewage. So I want to know how you're going to be able to afford that, only making $50,000 a year, with the price of food, with the price of Uber, with the price of bus tickets, and the insurance that you got to get for your health as it starts to go downhill as you go over 35. Okay? So, move back in with your parents, tough it out for 5 years, tough it out. And then you go and you save up your money. Okay, you're saving up your money, at least $10,000 a year. You're saving it up for 5 years. That $10,000 a year is going to add up. You can get you a semi-decent home, a little fixer-upper for $50,000. You can still get you a fixer-upper home. $50,000 in mortgage. Little fixer-upper. Okay, you might need to fix some of the plumbing or some of the electricity. You go to the hood and you find some under the table plumber or under the table working electrician to fix that stuff. Most homes that are 50,000 and 80,000, they need work on the electricity and the plumbing. That's normally why it's that low. Okay, take it from a homeowner. Okay. All right. Yes, you can. You want me to go ahead and post some links? You can get a fixer-upper home for $50,000. Okay. You can get up out my live for lying. You can get you a small cabin, a tiny cabin for $40,000. There's people on YouTube who got them. Okay. There's homes around here that I'm seeing the for sale sign, $50,000. Okay, they're fixer-uppers. I didn't say brand new homes. I said fixer-uppers. I'm not going to argue with you in this video. I'm over 40. I'm not arguing with you in this video. Everybody want to learn from older people, but want to argue with us. Okay? Don't argue with old heads if you want the lesson. For real. Want to call me auntie, but don't want to learn from me. If you ain't here to learn from me, don't call me auntie. Okay? Real talk. All right. So, okay, I don't give a damn where you live at. You can find a fixer-upper home for $50,000. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me, baby. Because I can I don't have to do this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you. Black women fatigue. I don't want that fatigue no more. No, you can eat the meat and spit out the bones. But if you want me to prove you wrong, I will. You don't have to stay living where you live at. So I don't give a damn where you live. You don't have to keep living in New York. You don't have to live in those places. You can buy you a ticket and go somewhere else. So I don't really give a damn where you live at. How you know I don't live in New York? How you know I don't live in New York? So this is ridiculous. As I was saying, okay, as I was saying, I'm telling y'all the mistakes I made. I didn't do this stuff. And I have lost tons of money all because I didn't do this. I had the perfect setup. I was living in someone's attic. Okay? Me and my partner was living in his mother's attic. It was the perfect setup. We was only paying $200 a month in rent. If we would have stayed there, we would probably own, if we would have stayed there for 10 years, we would probably own 2 houses by now. We'd be sitting here over 40, renting a house out, getting money, and have our own house. This is real talk. But nobody told us this. Nobody told us this. I am trying to save y'all from making the mistake that me and my partner made when we was under 35. Why do I say 35? Because your body goes through a change of life when you get over 35. Some women go into premenopause. Men, y'all start to need HRT. So you're not as energized to work. Okay? But when you're under 35, you're still high energy. Okay? Your hormones are still cranking and cranking. That means you can really put in the work and make that money. You can really make that money. But what is the point of having all that energy from all those hormones high if you're sitting up there paying $2,000 a month in rent? You're wasting the most energized time of your life. The most abundant energy time of your life. You have to be able to make it count. Literally be like, I'm going to slave out. Everybody gonna be a slave till 40. Most people don't even get the money unless you got sponsors. Like rich people got sponsors. Most people ain't even getting real good money to pay off loans and all that until they like 45. That's if they're trying to live on their own. So even if you have a PhD and you're working as a doctor and you're under 35, stay home. Literally. Move back in with your grandma, with your PhD. Work those 14, 15 hours a day at the local hospital, making your $30 an hour doctor job, and bank that money. Don't talk about your paycheck around your grandma, but just take good care of her. Do the shopping on your days off. Do the cleaning. Do a lot of the cleaning. Cut the grass. For real. Buy her a gift every month, something a little to tell her thank you for letting you stay there. And buy the groceries. Old people like this. Long as you buy the groceries, I'm good. You can stay here. So just go there. If you want some sex, take the chick to the motel. If you literally, or go have sex in your car. Like this is real talk. You meet somebody and you're like, I live with my grandma. Okay, why don't you just go down to the river with your car and have some sex with your boo? Like, for real. That's cheaper than having sex at the motel. Matter of fact, you don't go to the hotel for sex. You go to the motel. You tell your boo, I'm saving up money so that I can get me pieces of land within 10 years. So if you want to have sex with me, we going to the motel. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay? We go out to dinner once a year. The other days of the week, I cook dinner at my house. You come and have dinner with me and my grandma at my grandma's house. Like, for real. For real. Yeah. Serious. And if that woman is for you, I'm talking to the men. If that woman's for you, she's not going to care about having sex at the motel. Because she's going to know that you're long-term planning. That you're trying to set up a really good kingdom for your future. She'll go ahead and put up with that motel and y'all sneaking and having sex when grandma not home. She'll put up with all that because she know that you banking the money. See? Smart women think like this. They say, well, he banking the money. He banking the money. I'm going to support him all through this. All through the motel. All through the grandma living. All this. And if you're willing to do that, young women under 35, if you're willing to do all that with that man, believe me when I tell you this, he's going to choose you as his wife when he get that land. Okay? You have in order to live comfortably when you're 40 years old and up, you have to be willing to live uncomfortable when you're under 40. You have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to ask friends like, yo, can I crash in your attic tonight? I'll give you $50 so me and my boo can crash in your attic so we can have some alone time and not have to be in my grandma's house. I mean, you have to be able to work your friendship circle too. Work it. Don't burn any bridges with your friends. Don't burn no bridges with any friends that you can benefit from. When you're under 40, you're collecting friends who can support you. And you tell them, I got long-term plans, bruh. If you support me, when I get there in 10 years, I got you. My casa will be your casa. You tell your friends that, okay? And you literally tell them like, hey, you gonna let me stay in your attic sometime when grandma at the house. I'll bring you some steaks. I'll bring you some steaks, some Fago, and a case of beer. So me and my boo can crash at your house. First of all, until you even get your land, don't even be thirsting for no sex. If you're under 35, tell your boo, your girl, we're gonna have to cut back on the sex because I need the energy so we can get established over 40. So if you're under 35, stop glamorizing having sex. Stop glamorizing that. Okay, for real. Like you need all the energy that you can get to be able to. You need those. Okay. You want peak performance. You want to be able to work 15 hours a day and be like, I'm good. Because I ain't had sex in 2 weeks. For real, use a toy with your girl. Like, for real, y'all man, be like, look, I need this energy so I can get us some land in about 5 or 10 years. So, baby, if you need a release, I'm going to have to get a toy for you. I'm going to have to get something to play with on you so that I can keep my energy so I can make more money for us. Y'all, for real. And if she be like, I can't take this no more, say, oh, okay, obviously you don't want to have a 4-bedroom home in 5 years. I guess you don't care about that. When we get our 4-bedroom home and our other home to rent out, We're going to make up for all the sex we didn't have. We're going to have sex day and night, baby. Day and night in our new home. Everywhere in the home. Tell your girl that. And women who are not willing to wait for a man to get the land, they are not worthy to make a wife. Period. Y'all know my weekend videos be wild. Y'all know how I go on the weekends. So some of y'all are sitting up there glamorizing. Y'all know y'all under 40, but like, I can't get laid. Really? You worried about that? You worried about that, and you know your rent is high as hell. Like, let me tell you something. It's real easy to get laid when your bank account is going up. And it just goes up. It doesn't crash and go up. It doesn't crash and go up. It just goes up because your vibration is attractive. So men, if you want to get laid at least once a month, you need to be able to keep more money in your bank account. And you cannot do that if your rent is high. You're not, okay? You're not. You know, the average rent out here now is like $2,000-3,000 a month. Doesn't include utilities. It's wild. Okay. So be like, you know what? I'm gonna move back in with my grandma so that my bank account just keep going up. You know, it's just going up. And then I'll have all kind of women wanting me. I'll have my pick of all the women because my vibration is just strong all the time. All the time. These are things that I wish I knew. If I knew this, I swear to goodness, I would have said, no, we are not moving out of your mama's attic. No, we ain't. But you got to understand that back in the 90s, we didn't have nobody teaching us this. Our parents, a lot of our parents were so self-absorbed, and some of them was drinking and turning up and all that. They didn't give a damn whether we got land. They didn't care about that, y'all. They just said, get a 9-to-5 job and pay your rent. They never even considered that at some point, the 9-to-5 job would not be able to afford us to pay rent. It would not be able to cover it and our health at the same time. They never thought like that. They assumed that we would always be able to pay all our bills comfortably. They assumed that, and they were wrong. Now, we have forgiven them. But I'm telling y'all this so we don't have another bitter generation saying, well, how come y'all didn't tell us this? How come the kids of the baby boomers, the grandkids of the baby boomers, how come y'all ain't tell us this? So I don't want a generation bitter at me. You know, I tried to tell my daughter this and she didn't listen, and now she regrets it. She regrets it. She said, Mom, I should have never moved out. I should have just stayed at least a couple more years. I would have my own home by now. Everything be set up, Mom. I said, well, see, because let me tell y'all something. Once you move in an apartment with a boo, your boo gets so used to having access to your booty anytime, they don't want to give up that apartment and move back in with your grandma. And then y'all end up breaking up over it. You say, well, we need to move back in with my grandma. They say no, because they got used to getting your booty every single day in y'all expensive, overpriced apartment. So this is why avoid moving into that apartment with the boo. Just stay at your parents' house. Stay with your auntie. Find out what they like and Sarah finesse them with their likes. Finesse your auntie. Finesse your mom so that they're not so quick to put you out. That they're not so thinking that you're just there to use them. Even if you're there to use them to get land, They should never suspect that because you're finessing them. Okay? You're finessing them on a monthly basis. If my daughter finessed me on a monthly basis that, Mom, I bought you some Reese cups, I got you some oatmeal bars, I wouldn't even be thinking that, hey, she just living here till she get on her feet, till she get her place. I wouldn't even care because she's finessing me. This this is how bad can your parents and your grandma treat you when you're monthly finessing them? I hear people say, my grandparents and parent auntie is toxic. That's why I can't live with them. And I say, are you finessing them? You're probably not. They know that you're saving money by living with them. So if you're not finessing them, they're saying that you're acting privileged, that you're taking advantage of them. Hi, everybody. Wow. I wish I had known this, y'all. I wish I had known this. I swear to goodness. And let me tell you something. When you move out your parents' house, it's very hard to get back in. You don't want your parents to know what it's like to not have you there. So if you have not been living with your parents for a couple months, run back. Run like hell back to them. Because once they get used to you not being there, they're through the empty nest syndrome. They're not going to be so quick to let you come back for years. They might say you can stay here 30 days, then you got to get out. So if you haven't lived with your parents for months, run back. Always remember, you're always going to keep more money your parents than not living with them. If I know what I know now, I would never even moved out my parents' house. I would have stayed there for a good 15, 20 years. I'm just telling y'all. I wouldn't have moved out until 45. I would have been like, okay, I'm ready to move out now. Everything's set up. I was able to pay for all my dental. I was able to throw away teeth and get new teeth. I was able to get the car that I really want. I didn't spend 20 years living with my mama, holding down a job for 20 years. Ooh, child, the benefits. I don't know why people glamorize having their own apartment. Y'all ain't nothing glamorous about having your own apartment when you know your dental bills are going up and your health bills are going up. You know this. You know you might need to get a hysterectomy. You know you might gotta get a colon cleanse. You know your hearing's going and you gotta get hearing checkups. You know that you're having vaginal changes and your positioning of your uterus changing and stuff. You know that you're having hormone problems or vitamin deficiencies and stuff. You might be becoming pre-diabetic, genetic diabetes inherited, all that. And you're like, I'm dealing with all this and I'm still paying $3,000 in rent. Oh no. Just keep on, look, and if you don't like your toxic relatives, don't be home all day. You have money to afford to not be at grandma's house all day. Come there for dinner time, to clean, to finesse grandma, and leave. Do you know that you can sit at the library till at least 8 p.m. Most libraries are open until 8 o'clock. Grandma is going to bed by that time. Grandma going to bed. So all you got to do is cook and clean, prep the food, leave some flowers and some chocolates for grandma on the dining room table. Say, call me grandma if you need something. And take your butt to the library and stay there till 8 p.m. Take your butt to Panera Bread. Take your butt to the coffee shop, to Starbucks. Spend half of your day at the park. Go and hang out at a friend's house. Okay? There are college libraries that are open literally until 11 p.m. Get you a membership there. Get you a $22 membership at Planet Fitness so that you can go there all day. Okay? So it's like, or just go ahead and go outside. You do not have to deal with toxic relatives even when you're living with them. It just amazes me that everybody say, I can't live with them. Why are you living with them? Why isn't it just a sleep place? Why can't you treat your grandma's house on some days of the week like it's a motel? Okay, 3 days a week, treat it like a motel. Your grandma's not going to say nothing because she's going to say you grown. You probably got grown folks' business out in these streets. So she's not really going to complain. Fighting is always optional. Grandma say, well, you're taking too long. I'm gonna cut the grass today, okay, Grandma? Oh, you ain't getting out of kissing butt. You gonna kiss somebody's butt to get it, okay? For real. So whose butt you want to kiss? That's the name of the game. You're not getting out of kissing butt. I've had to kiss butt. My daughter, as gorgeous as she is, and y'all know how gorgeous she is, she has had to kiss butt. So the point that I'm making, okay, is aren't you better off kissing your grandma's butt than your landlord's butt? Saying, oh, can you please lower my rent? Can you please give me a discount on the rent? That's kissing butt. That's sucking up and begging. I would rather beg my auntie than my grandma, because they're not going to go in these streets and talk about me and say they was kissing my butt and begging. They're not going to do that. Okay? But your landlord might do that. Your neighbors might do that. Your friends might do that. So you might as well go back home and kiss your mama's booty. Get real good at it. Okay? That at least you won't have to kiss more of your employer's butt, begging for raises, begging for extra hours to work. You won't have to do none of that because you living with your mom, paying the rent that they paid back in the 80s. Yo. Okay? No one is getting out. No one is dying without being a beggar. Okay? You're going to have to ask for help. It's who do you want to go to? Okay? Unless you was born with money and your family's rich and they just showering you with money like the Kim Kardashians do, you're not going through life without asking for help. So the last thing you want to be doing is begging for a place to stay out in these streets that's cheaper so you can afford to take care of yourself. Always remember that when you're paying cheaper rent, you can take better care of yourself. You can wear nicer clothes. You can extend the health of your teeth. It costs $600 a year for a tooth cleaning. And let me tell you, you're not going to be able to skip on that once you hit 40. You're not. You can skip on it now. You're going to be, okay, you okay now because your teeth is young. But when you hit that 40 mark, you're going to be like, this plaque ain't coming off with the toothpaste. It's not coming off. So what I'm saying is, future think. See wear and tear. Okay? You're going to say, oh, I'm gonna start looking like I hit the wall over 40. I don't want to look like I hit the wall 20 times. Okay? Of course, I'm gonna look like I hit the wall a little bit because I slaved the hell out through my 20s and 30s. But I don't want to look like I hit the wall until the wall fell apart. I don't want to look like that. And the only way to get around that is I have to be able to afford skin care, hair care consistently. And I have to be able to afford gym memberships. I have to be able to afford creatine and arginine and macaroon. I have to be able to afford that stuff. When you see people out here who you say, why they look so young for their age? They can afford things you can't afford. They can afford to put rose oil on their face. They got some sort of setup. They living with somebody who's taking care of some of the work. I'm gonna tell y'all something. If the video cut out, y'all don't leave, okay? Because I'll just get back on. I'm gonna tell y'all, when I was living with my mother-in-law, and sometimes we wouldn't go and get along, I was actually sleeping at the library. I would literally take my naps at the library. Now, I know what y'all thinking. That's wild. But I was willing to do it because we was only paying her $200 in groceries. The problem, what happened was I had people brainwash me and tell me, you got to have your own place in your 20s. Got brainwashed, y'all. So that's why I moved out when I should. Got brainwashed, y'all. So that's why I moved out when I shouldn't have moved out. I know a guy who moved in with his old mother when he was 60 years old. He stayed with her for about 10 years. You know what? He ended up getting a real nice car. She ended up leaving him all the land. And he was able to go on vacations and really live a full life. And his kids were already grown. He didn't have no responsibilities but him and his mom. If you need new teeth, at least 5 new teeth, you should be moving back in with your parents. If you have not been able to replace any teeth in your mouth, you need to move back in with your parents. Because within 1 year, you will be able to afford that. If you have a steady job, a 9-to-5 job, within 1 year, you will be able to afford $2,000 for each tooth. Okay, some of these dentists, they have discount times where you only pay $2,000 for a new tooth. So let's say you're missing your back teeth, but you want implants. That's like $2,000 to $3,000 per tooth. But if you move back in with your parents and you only pay maybe $300 in rent a month, and you're just helping out around the house, by the end of that year, you're going to have saved enough money to replace your back teeth. At least 4 of your teeth. That'll be $3,000 a tooth. That'll be like $15,000. Okay? Or $16,000. That means that you saved, you didn't buy yourself a whole bunch of new clothes, you didn't overspend, you just banked about $16,000 of your money of your 9-to-5, 40 hours a week job. And then you go get your new teeth. Period. I have a family member that got like a $15,000 check for adopting a child. And they had good income coming in already. They went and got new teeth and a new car. See what I'm saying? So, and my brother did the same thing. Don't think you're not going to need teeth. If you ever look at some of the celebrities when they're not acting and you see them off cameras, you see that they got some missing tooth or whatever. Some of them, they don't want to, they're scared to get the surgery, or they got partials in their mouth that they paid for. But my point is, aging takes everybody down. You're not escaping it. You're not escaping aging taking you down. You may be under 35 and full of energy and looking all good and thinking it's going to last forever, and it's not. You have to be financially set up to be prepared to take care of your aging body, where it actually feels like it's aging. Okay? And it gets more and more expensive. All right. If y'all enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. If you'd like to send a donation, Texas is in the house. Texas time is in the house. Feel free to send donations to my Cash App at Coach V Hunter. I'm gonna do a video talking about ways to save money, but one of the main way to save a lot of money is to move in with an older family member, because their mindset is set on cheaper rent. If you move in with a young family member, they're going to try to charge you close, almost very close to the current rent price. If you move in with grandma, she's going to charge you cheaper rent. Plus, she might actually leave you her property when she dies. You might end up inheriting the land or something of hers. I have an interesting story to share with y'all about a friend of mine who stopped working, and they was basically staying at their mom's house most of the time, and they ended up being left property, and they ended up being able to take care of themselves more. And they're a much older person. It's really none of nobody's business why you're still living at home or where you live. So you ain't got to explain it to nobody. Most people, they're going to get jealous if you say you live with a grandma. They know you're saving money. They're just jealous. If you say I'm living in my parents' basement, and if somebody say you living in your parents' basement, and I got more money, I'm saving more money than you, bruh. I'm saving more money. Put that in their face. Put that in their face. Say you care more about saying you got your own place and having sex than actually saving money. You care more about having sex every single day, all day, anytime in your apartment than actually saving money and investing into your future freedom. People want instant artificial freedom, delusional freedom, and they sit up there and end up being a work slave. And it's like, you don't even have to do that. You can actually get a little bit more taste of real freedom if you're living with your older family members, or at least a sibling that's not financially greedy, that's not jealous of you, because then they're not going to overcharge you with the rent. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. I got to spend some time with family, and I'm about to go down. I'm about to do some artwork, some watercolor. Some of y'all like watching me do watercolor and all that. So I'm doing some watercolor, then I'm going to spend some time with family. Thank you very much for whatever donations you may send. You can send donations also to my PayPal. Thank you very much, anyone who sent donations this morning. Bye, everybody.